You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. So if you don't have any millionaire friends, you're doomed to never get rich. Listen, your life will be miserable if you don't have any millionaire friends, because they're one of the most fun people to be around with. And more importantly, if you want to make money, if you want to get rich, these people have access to different opportunities no one even knows about. They have access to new information, underground, developing markets no one else knows. To give you an even better perspective, I'm bringing on another millionaire, Michael.
My name is Mike Santucci.
Michael owns businesses in real estate, e-commerce, and crypto, and he's one of the smartest people I know when it comes to networking. So for you right now, you've gone through a lot of different businesses, not just one of them. How has networking helped you grow or scale these businesses?
It's been honestly probably the number one driving force. You're really only maybe like 1 or 2 people away from like a billionaire.
So if you become one of their friends, you'll have the inside information on exactly what's going on, and you'll have the opportunity to make millions of dollars. Let's start with how to find millionaires. From my experience, there are 4 main ways on how to find them. Number 1 is join different communities. Millionaires, just like regular people, have different interests, hobbies, and things they like to do. So these communities are great ways to connect with them. However, the only trick is most millionaires don't have regular people hobbies. They enjoy, for example, watching racing sports. They enjoy watches. They enjoy golfing.
It's really all just a snowball effect. Networking events in your area.
Most of the time, these are going to be maybe like specific luxury car meets or going to different expos that are in your area. Because most of the time, the people who go to just regular networking events are not the right people you want to meet.
Just shaking hands with people, putting yourself in situations where you're constantly in a social environment and hang out where these people hang out. It's going to be scary. It's going to be daunting. But if you don't start and put one foot in front of the other, you're not going to be able to look back 5-6 years from now and be like, damn, I've built up a pretty sick network here.
It's true for both the offline setting as well as the online setting. You can have Facebook groups, you can have school groups. School is a tool by Sam Ovens. These are the communities you can start getting into to be recognized as someone from within. And more importantly, a lot of times in London, New York, you have different clubs, millionaire clubs or private clubs, which are difficult to get into. But if you get a chance, if you get an opportunity to be there, you'll stumble upon a couple of people who have made a lot of wealth. The second way where you can find millionaires is to find them on Instagram. Granted, a lot of the people who make the most amount of money, they're off social media, or their social media has very little presence. But still, even the people who are more active, you can connect with them, you can have conversations with them. And someone like Alex Mickle, who is a very, very successful affiliate marketer and a keynote speaker, you can DM him on Instagram and he'll be able to respond. Obviously, if you have a good enough of a question.
DMing people and offering some sort of like free value, say maybe providing a free service.
When you reach out, when you DM these people, ideally you want to talk about the interests they have. So in the case of Alex, if you get some people DMing you, don't blame me. In the case of Alex, if you'll watch his stories and you see what he does, he likes affiliate marketing, he likes skydiving, he likes adventures, he likes travel. So if you want to reach out to someone and you talk about their interests and you're interested in the same things, that's going to get you the reply you're looking for. And from there, you can start to build a relationship. You can even meet them in real life and give them some sort of value. But listen, there's still more important steps later in this video, so pay close attention. The next thing is going to events. And Alex Mickle is actually a guy I had been DMing and talking to on Instagram. And I met him at Affiliate World Dubai. I was about to exit the conference and I saw him walking towards me. I approached him, I started off a conversation. A while later, we became better acquaintances. Even something smaller as like following each other on Instagram, those are kind of like steps you can take to build some sort of relationship with someone. Now, in my case, I didn't really want to, get anything from him. I genuinely think he's a super cool guy. He's doing great things. So obviously, I want to become friends with more of those people. And just through DMing him, knowing what he likes, and sparking up a conversation and meeting him at the event helped me get a better connection. And a lot of times, you can have people you see online and you talk to online, but if you don't see them in real life, they're going to be very hard to connect with. They're going to be very hard to reach out to. And these are typically the people who are making the most amount of money. But that's not it, because the fourth option is an environment you can put yourself into and run into millionaires every single day. It's staying at rich areas. This can be restaurants, cafes, hotels, golf courses, anything you can imagine. Because even if you're not rich right now and you start doing golfing, you might just run into someone, start talking with someone in the cafe, and you might realize that you're in the same industry. And all of a sudden, you might have a great, valuable connection. You can talk with and possibly do business with later down the line.
A year or two ago, I signed up for a gym membership here in the city that I knew a lot of wealthy people would be at. And yeah, it might have been a little pricier up front, but I met a real estate investor there that I ended up selling a couple deals to.
Scared money doesn't make money. That's why if you have the opportunity to go to a more expensive place that has millionaires there possibly, go and invest the extra money. If you go to a more expensive gym, if you go to a more expensive restaurant, that'll increase the odds of you finding the right people. So going to rich areas and staying in these rich areas is a great way to build your network, no matter what you do, no matter how frequently you are there. Because as I said earlier, you are the average of 5 people around you. And if you surround yourself in areas where rich people go, you're more likely to become rich. Listen, this next part is very crucial because you could see 100 millionaires. And if you don't know the right way to approach them, you will never be friends with them. So here's exactly how you approach these kinds of people. Number 1, do your research. If you know this person from before, ideally you want to do your research. Know what they like, know what they don't like, Google them and see what they're up to.
The guy in my case actually was wearing a college shirt. I was like, must have been his alma mater. And I played football in college and we had played a similar team. And I was like, oh, I actually did this. I went to school there too. And that was an instant connection. If you're at like a more technical meet, like a real estate meetup or an investor meetup specifically, just go up and introduce yourself, tell them what you do. But if you're at like lunch or you're at the bar, finding some sort of common ground, like watches, maybe it's like a cool piece of jewelry, just little stuff. You know, you got to kind of think like, if I'm a multimillionaire, where am I hanging out? What am I drinking? What am I doing on the weekends?
If you can walk up to someone and just know that they're into watches and start talking about watches, immediately you'll have a connection. You'll be able to spark up that relationship. And as I said earlier, if you know a lot about racing, watches, luxury shoes, anything around those lines, it'll be a lot easier for you to have conversations with these people. I could not explain the amount of times I've met someone, we start talking about cars, and all of a sudden it's someone that is very highly respected in the space. It's difficult for people to talk with those people because they're very, very closed in. They don't want to really let in new people in their lives because they don't want to take on unnecessary risk. A lot of people are trying to fuck them over, so on and so forth. So then if you can find common ground to different activities and different hobbies, you'll be able to spark up the conversation. Now, the next thing is kind of like a conglomerate of skills, meaning you don't just have one thing you need to do. You need to build courage and you need to build social skills, meaning you need to go out there and talk with people. If you're a man, going out and doing cold pickup with women is one of the best ways to become a better networker, a better person to go ahead and, become friends with almost anybody. Because then you'll learn how to let your personality lead the way. Then you'll learn how to approach people and not be like one of those people that's trembling out of fear to even say hello to someone. Because that screams insecurity. That screams that you maybe are not legit in the industry. You're kind of afraid, you don't feel that you fit in. Instead, you need to do the opposite. And the best way to do it is to put the reps in. Don't be embarrassed, because probably the first 5-10 people you're going to meet, it's gonna go completely wrong with them. The first millionaire I really met, I sat down at a table, he was right across me, I was smiling, I was kind of excited, but then I started stumbling upon my words, and I said something that was kind of insulting to him, and he got mad and lashed out at me a little bit. And keep in mind, I was, I think like 14, 15 at the time, so it was like a big, like a hammer to the head. It was a terrible moment for me. But the more people I approached, the more people I met, the better I got. And the same thing will happen to you. The only way to really become friends with people and know how to approach is to do it more often. Now, the thing is, approaching millionaires is only one side of the story. You can approach someone, maybe get their Instagram, and that's where it all ends. And that's why you need to know how to build and keep a relationship with someone, because this is where you can make millions of dollars. Now, look, I have to be completely honest. This is where most people will mess up. And if you don't work and craft this part correctly, you're never going to be able to become friends with millionaires. And this is just to give. Meaning you need to build a strong and valuable skill set. You need to be able to be interesting and provide value to them. Because if you're there just to take, you're never going to be friends with anybody. Whether it's a millionaire, someone with $100,000, someone even next doors. If you're just the guy that's known for walking up to someone, taking things.
At the end of the day, you've got to be able to provide something for someone, whether that's a mutual interest in an activity, or my dad always would say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, obviously don't annoy them, but see if you can provide any sort of value, whether that's say, hey, look, you know, I do this. Is there anything that my company can do for your service to help you scale this or do that? And if there's no, there isn't, well, hey, what do you say we just go play around a golf? You were a cool guy. Let's just go talk shop. You're planting seeds today that you might reap the benefits from in 15 years.
In 2020, I met a legendary marketer, Jordan Menard. He was one of the people who helped some of us scale to the obscene numbers he was at. Now, the thing with Jordan was I had researched and I had done my homework before that. I knew the projects he was working on. I knew the things he liked, the things he disliked. And more importantly, I know the specifics of his journey working with Sam. So when I approached him, it was very easy. We talked about Traffic Pilot, the project he started, and then later, you know, he had to abandon it. His experience working with Sam, and I even remembered some of the quotes he said in some of the podcasts, and immediately that caught his attention. Now, what I did next was what made us become closer friends. I gave him a lot of referrals. I gave him a lot of business, a lot of potential business. Whether he started working with these people or not is a different story, but the fact is that his first experience with me is just getting. So you feel good. And this is not some sort of a nasty tactic. This is a genuine way to help someone out, because I knew people who needed his help, and I just connected them two together. And all of a sudden, the people who need help get a great person who can help them out, and you know who they can work with. And then Jordan in return gets new potential clients, a fuller pipeline, and all of a sudden everybody is a winner. That's what happens when you hang around with millionaires. Most of the times everyone's going to be a winner. The people who are going into relationships where you know the balances are off scale is where these relationships don't last long and no one ever feels good. With millionaires, this is why I said it's so fun to be around them. They're always winning. They're always moving forward. Now, giving doesn't mean necessarily giving them referrals or giving money. You can also work for these people. I remember there's a neighbor for whom I was just mowing my lawn, and I had the ability to even hit him up later and just go to his place, pitch my business ideas, get his feedback, and I even was the guy who helped him rebuild his website. And it kind of happened because I was mowing his lawn, and through those small connections, those small touch points, you're able to become friends with them. If you have a specific skill, for example, if you know how to scale YouTube channels, you could hit someone like me up and help me out. And then you might get the advice I have, you know, you can give me the advice you have. And that's a great example on how to provide value both ways. The last thing you have to remember is you need to be ready to pay. And I believe this to be very important, because when you're out with millionaires, you're going to notice this. When the bill comes at a restaurant, like, people are going crazy for who is going to be the person to pay the bill, because no one wants to let the other person pay first. Like, whenever I go to dinners with Carl Vasia, he always tries to get the bill. He always tries to like sneakily say he's gonna go to the toilet, and then all of a sudden everything is paid. And you kind of have like, you know, this battle going on who's gonna pay every time we go out, and it's quite a fun game, to be fair. Now, this is true for the level of going out and eating in a restaurant, and the same thing is even getting access to people. When I was starting out on Twitter, I connected with Wiz of Ecom. He's one of the most respected people in the dark and very unknown corner of Twitter, money Twitter. But this is where hundreds of millionaires hang around and share their exact strategies and tactics on how to make money online. I did pay him a specific amount of money to help me grow my Twitter account and help me get into his Utopia group. This allowed me to get direct access to him, and even paying him a couple of $1,000s was so valuable. But I understand not everyone can afford that. That's why you can stick to the other steps. But if you have the money, don't be afraid to show that you're ready to pay, to show that you're ready to give value to them. If you've gotten this far in the video, you want to have a successful future. That's why you want to watch this video next, so I can show you how to increase your income even more. So tap the video here, and I'll see you on the other side.